Hey y'all, I'm DeuceyTV. Have you ever wondered how to get your land perfectly flat, like so? Well, in this short video, I'm going to show y'all how to do it. You can make islands, or you can just flatten out the mainland to, build creations just as you'd like without having to worry about building them uphill or anything like that. So let's get started. So, of course, you'll need to start with a workbench so that you can successfully raise the ground. And here you'll see I have some spawned in materials. Just to make this video a little easier, I don't usually use them. Anyway, start by building a hill. You can build it up as high as you want. And this is where a lot of people make their first mistake. They will try to just add near the bottom of the hill, but if you click near the top of the hill, it will create a mound next to it that is the same height or very similar. You can go out as far as you want. Then all you have to do is jump up onto the hill and flatten the ground, and it will bring all of the ground to the same level. Doing this method will save you a lot of stone, especially if you are a survival builder, which is what I prefer. I don't like using creative mode. I like going out and getting all of my own materials. So learning this has really come in handy, and you could see I added one last little raised ground there because it wasn't quite coming up. Every now and then you'll have to add a little bit more to make it work. Speaking of survival only building, I now have my own Valheim server, which anyone is welcome to join. It's made just for survival only building. So make sure you check out the link in the comments if you are interested. Now here, I'm just showing you what a lot of people do to try and make hills. They just keep spamming and they use a lot of stone, when instead, you can literally just, again, click near the top of the hill and it will bring it to the same height and bring it out as far as you want. And you can do this to create an entire island. You can see it's covering up those previous mounds that I made, and it's using a lot less stone doing it. So now we have a perfect little rectangle, and we can just flatten the land to make it completely perfect. You'll notice that the ground will go to the same level that you're standing on. That's something important to know about flattening or leveling the ground. Whatever level you're standing on is what the ground will go to whenever you start to level it with your hoe. Now if you look at the side of this rectangle, you can see the edge isn't completely uniform the whole way down, so all you have to do is grab a pickaxe and do as I'm doing just here to make it perfectly slope down the entire side. So here it kinda isn't perfect, so just do this method and it will make perfect slopes down the side. This is what I used to create a terrace farm on the server that I just got done talking about a little bit ago. And man, it looks so neat and perfect, and it is such a cool creation. So I'm just trying to make sure y'all have all of the tools in your toolbox to make sure this works. Now there are various methods people like to use to create bridges in order to reach the outside of whatever they're working on. I prefer just tilting the wood to a 45-degree angle, and it will clip into itself, as you can see here. It makes a really sturdy bridge, and it's not super wide, so it doesn't really get in the way, and then you can just delete it whenever you're done. So now that we have our little bridge, we can now raise the ground out into the ocean. And you can pretty much go infinitely if you want. I wouldn't recommend it because eventually you'll end up getting in the way of where your ships can go, but it's there if you want to use it. And then I just flatten the ground here to make sure that it's all level, and we can continue to add. First we'll get rid of this wood though. You'll see that the wood will just kind of pop up into the surface of the ground whenever we start to raise it anyway, so it's not a huge deal. And as you can see, as long as you're aiming right in the middle, it'll create a perfect ridge that you can use. And then obviously we can flatten again to bring it to the correct level. And then if it's not quite the right level, we can always raise ground to make sure that it works properly, like right here. You can see the corners a little lower than everything else. Boom, easy. Just flatten the ground and there we go. Perfect. So just continue this process until you've filled in the entire space. You can see here I got a little too low, but if you aim right at the top edge of the dirt, it will raise it up, and I'll show you right here. You can literally make it slope up infinitely if you just aim right at the top edge. You can see here we have a really nice slope which you can use. For instance, if you're trying to make a slope to pull a cart up or down, sometimes it can be really hard to carve into the dirt a nice slope. So this is just a really good alternative you can use if you're having trouble. Now you can see that this land doesn't want to perfectly flatten out, and that just means there's a little bit too much rock content in it. So you got to get a pickaxe, bring it down, and then you'll be able to flatten it back out. And don't worry if it goes slightly under where everything else is at, you'll be able to flatten it no problem. Again, you'll notice that this portion of the edge is slightly above the rest, so you'll just have to come with a pickaxe, bring that down. Again, it doesn't matter if it's below the surface level, and then you can fix it, no problem. So I'm pretty happy with this little island we built, so now we're just gonna grab some more stone since we're kind of running low. Again, I'm in cheat mode just to make it a little easier. You can see I repaired all my tools there, but we're gonna come over here to this land and I'm gonna show you how to flatten actual land and make it work for you. So obviously you start by just flattening out around you. Pick whatever level you want the ground to be at and just stand there, and you can work in a circle around yourself. You can see here that I'm spamming the hoe and nothing's happening. So this just means again that there's too much stone content in this dirt and we'll have to come back to it with a pickaxe. For now though, let's just kind of go around and see how the soil is working nearby. So we've got our pickaxe and it's time to just dig down into the dirt. You don't have to be super precise with everything. Even this stone in the way isn't really going to be an issue. They just fall down. So you can work around it if you don't feel like breaking it up yet. And you can see I'm just kind of going around these little mounds. And you should be able to flatten them. If not, you just hit them with a pickaxe and they'll go right down, no problem. You can see these two little mounds to the left are giving me some issues, so boom, easy. Now they're gone, and we'll be able to flatten out, no issue. Look at that, perfect. So you just kind of continue this ebb and flow of flattening and then mining, and you'll eventually get what you want until you're perfectly happy with it. Before starting a large-scale build, I definitely recommend that you kind of do what I'm doing here to make sure that the land flattens evenly whenever you mine next to it, because if you don't, it will sometimes make jagged edges which aren't as good looking as these flat edges here. So just kind of play around with it. You'll know what I mean when you start messing with it yourself. But here you can see I'm just carving out this edge so I can make my square plot. And now everything that will allow to be flattened is now flattened, and we just add our finishing little touches, get rid of these small bits of ground, and there you go. You have basically a perfectly flat bit of land, and then we can expand that if we'd like. Once the hills to the side get really tall though, I definitely recommend doing more of a terracing type thing, because having to mine all that just takes forever. But then you can, like I said, you can make it larger by just going in a circle wherever you are standing and make your flattened land perfect around you. And you can literally do this forever if you want. Now that we're done expanding, voila, we have our small little area of flattened land, and you can build literally whatever you want, and it'll be a lot cleaner than trying to build on just natural land. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to show y'all a little bit of my terrace farm so that y'all can kind of see some of the options that are available whenever you work on this. Again, here's a little island I made by just building out. And yeah, let's show you the terrace farm. So here you can see on a large scale what land flattening can do and just kind of the potential of it. So this farm I decided to create for my private server, it was located in the middle of these plains that were down all these hills, and I was like, man, I really don't want to build a farm going downhill. So I think I'll just make a terrace farm. It'll look really cool, and it'll be something kind of breathtaking that new members of the server will see, and that every member of the server can use in order to have plenty of food and stamina while they're trying to make their builds or just progress through the game while on my server. You can see this is kind of jagged and needs work, but this other hill is very smooth because it's all been mined and it looks really neat. But again, it's just a large scale use of land flattening, and I just think it is so cool. Again, this terrace farm exists on my private server in Valheim, which literally anyone is welcome to join. If you'd like to be a part of the server, just go to the description and click the Discord link. From there, you can read the server rules and get your role, and then read the building rules and get started on the server. Right here, you'll see the farmhouse, which this little shelter I just passed by is gonna eventually be deleted so that you can see the entire farm from the farmhouse. It's gonna be really cool, and again, we're looking to get a lot more members so that hopefully we can have people playing all throughout the day. But if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment below of what your favorite part was or what you learned that you didn't already know. Thanks again, guys.